Let's welcome back to MidPoint, President of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund, former Assistant Director of the FBI, Ron Hosko. Ron, let's go ahead and turn to New York and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Originally, he took some inadvertent shots or perhaps did not exactly build up his police department as he needed to in an original press conference. He's now in a verbal feud with the police union chief. He now is also coming out and basically still saying things such as blaming the media in a recent press conference with regard to what's happened in New York. We talk about leadership. Is it not fair to say that this is horrendous leadership from the mayor of a major city, and this is part of the problem indeed? When you've got a bumbler sitting at the top who can't go ahead and make the right calls, it filters down and hurts everybody.
It is absolutely part of the problem. I mentioned earlier communications. We need, great communication skills at all levels in policing and on all levels in our leadership. And what we've seen for months now has really been a failure of communication, poor communication, whether by design or inadvertently. And it has created this narrative that the country is hearing now. We heard it for 4 months, and the complete sentence was, white cop shoots unarmed black teen, period. And the story in Ferguson was much, there was much more detail to that story that finally was told. There's more detail to the Garner story. There's more detail to what's going on in New York, and you're not hearing that from our leaders.
Then I tell you what, Ron, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this on here from my profession as well, because I will agree with the mayor in some instances. I believe there are members of the national media and the local media here who play this up simply because they go ahead, they have an agenda, and this is what they want to do. So is it not fair to say that the media does bear a role in this? How we cover it and what we present to people is part of the problem, because people sometimes fall immediately for the first 6 words they hear and they don't hear anything in depth.
Right. We hope for a populace that, educates themselves, that is thoughtful on issues, that will dive a little bit deeper and ask questions themselves. But from my perspective here in the D.C. area, I have heard, as you have, for months, that sentence that I just stated coming from the radio, in the news, and on TV, and in much of the mainstream media. And people start to believe that that's the reality without looking for more detail.
All right,
and making their own judgments.
Then let's just take the media out of it for the moment here. How then do we start to at least repair this? Is it more officers on the street? Is it more black officers in black areas? What exactly is it? Because somehow we've got to get the law enforcement has got to get the trust of the public back. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, the way we're going, I don't see any way this is going to happen for years, perhaps.
Right. Ed, I hope and pray that most of the public sees law enforcement for what they are. That is, they're protectors, those who are working day and night to keep them safe, who are running into burning buildings, running into active shooter scenarios, and engaging in acts of heroism every day, doing a very difficult job. However, what we do need smarter police officers. We need more training. We need more engagement with our community at all levels, and that is public forums, individual officers getting out of their cars and walking on the street and knowing who they're policing, and trying to get the community back together and on the side of law enforcement and having a deeper appreciation for the work they do.
And in order to make the good cops shine out, when we see an intoxicated officer, when we see a cop who beats somebody up for no reason, don't we need the police unions on the side then and everybody on the side to say, you're fired, you're out, that's it? Wouldn't that then say something to America that we're not willing to sit and wait months for this to happen? You screw up, you're out.
Unquestionably, we need due process. Of course, every officer should be guaranteed that. We had a situation in Ferguson where the masses were ready to deny Darren Wilson any sort of due process or presumption of innocence. They wanted a tree and a rope. They wanted a conviction the next day. And then when the facts become known, because of the false narrative that we've heard over 4 months and positions are hardened, then we have to somehow find a way to walk back from that and re-educate people who don't want to listen. It became very difficult over the last 4 months, but we need to take some steps forward together with the right voices.
I got about 40 seconds left here. There's a lot of cops right now who fear for their life. As I mentioned at the beginning of this interview now, people who are targeting cops. Would you see the feds getting involved, the FBI, a terror alert of some kind to start and work with local police departments to try and get down to the core and find these people?
the FBI is going to try to insert itself or involve itself based on actual intelligence. And so if they see threat streams coming together in an appreciable way, they will raise that across the law enforcement community. But I'm sure most in law enforcement have got the word. They have been watching Ferguson like all of us. They've watched the Garner situation. They see the protests, and they know that could be them. The police are under assault every day. 50,000 almost in 2013 reported to the FBI assaults on the police. So they know they're a target when they put that uniform on.
All right, Ron, I want to thank you very much for your comments. This is a conversation that we are going to continue here. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year to you and your family. I'll look forward to the next time we talk.
Thanks, Ed. Same to you.
Take care. Break, and we're back with the next step on President Obama's legacy tour, and it involves Mother Nature.